All right, so sorry we're starting so late. It is officially 3:25, and we're just gonna jump right into our recap today. If you guys have never seen the STiKS, it's just basically like a podcast. I'm gonna ask all these guys various questions about UMG Dallas, but first I'm gonna allow each of them to kind of introduce who they are and what affiliations they have in the Call of Duty community. And I'll start with Fatty, and then we'll go Hitch, Golden Boy, and then myself.
All right, I'm your short, fat friend, Smiting Fatty. I've been known to do a little casting. I've been known to do a little just sitting around being fat. Yeah, that's me.
Jesus Christ.
No, that is not me, though. That guy's not me.
Well, that's good.
I'm assuming he wouldn't be.
I would hope not. That'd be. Though I do have the facial hair, I could probably pull it off someday. Wait, no, I can't say that.
Oh my god.
All right, go next.
All right, I'm Hitch. I do media stuff. I did it for UMG. Now I do it for Gamma. I also did the OpTic Nation GOAT chemistry videos, and I report OpTic scores whenever the stream is not on. That's what I do.
You report OpTic scores?
You got 5K in a day.
Whenever the stream is not on?
Yeah.
So you're a OpTic fanboy? Did you take my title away from me?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Not meaning to. I just
awesome.
did it.
Big Snacks can have a new target now. Go ahead, Golden Boy, you're up.
All right, I'm Golden Boy. I commentate video games for a living.
Awesome. Do you have any affiliations in the Call of Duty community?
No, actually, I don't know affiliations in COD. I mean, I've just been around since COD 2, and I work for Twitch, and that's that. That's what I do. That's who I is.
And I know you used to play, right?
Yeah, I did. I used to play a long time ago. I used to play. My last official tournament was for Call of Duty was MLG Raleigh, like 2012, I think. That was I believe that was, I'm trying to remember what it was. I know it was Black Ops 1, but I don't remember my team. And then my last event was a Halo Reach event for MLG back in the day.
And didn't you team with Embos?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. So that way OpTic fans can like me. Because Lord knows they all think I'm biased toward everyone else other than OpTic, and then I'm biased to Envy, but then turned out I was actually biased to TK the whole time. Then I was actually biased to Denial, and then somewhere along the way I became biased to Noble Vanquish, but then it went back to being that I was biased to OpTic. But the problem was they didn't know which OpTic I was biased with because there were two OpTics playing, and then as time kind of rolled on, it turned out, you learned you're just not biased when you're biased to everyone. And that was my weekend, folks. That and fixing Xbox Ones.
You seem a little tired, man.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted, dude. I'm freaking, are you kidding me? My brain is still, I have another event coming up this weekend, and I'm exhausted. All I could do is just think about how I just want to sleep. And
you have another event this weekend?
Yeah, I have another event this weekend. It's not announced yet, but I think most people kind of get an idea as to what it is.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then we won't go into it. Yay!
I was gonna say I don't have an idea either. We're noobs to the scene, I guess. So Golden Boy and Hitch, you guys were both at UMG, and you've been at multiple UMG events. What did you guys think of the event overall? How did it compare? What were kind of some of the pluses and minuses of attending this event versus the other ones? And I know, Hitch, you were in a different capacity than you have been in the past. Before you were working for UMG, and now you're not. So I'll just start with Hitch. You kind of give me your feedback on what UMG Dallas was like being there.
It was small. It was a very, very, very small venue. But that being said, I do think it was the most appealing to the eye venue that I've ever been to for UMG. There were soundproof booths that looked great. The other the sponsor booths, they look great. But the venue was really small, and there were no food places around.
What?
So if you were going to eat, you had to either eat the hotel food, or you had to eat. They like set up a little pizza stand, and that was really everything that you could eat. Or there was nothing in walking distance basically. So it was a little bit of a different venue, and if it was someone's first time, they were probably like, I can see how it would be a little frustrating, but other than that, I think it was still like a pretty awesome time.
All right, Golden Boy.
I could do it. Yeah. Okay. So I produced the event, and I mean, basically everything Hitch said is a lie. No, I'm kidding. No, like I helped produce the event and all that stuff, and I thought, honestly, I'm glad we had that jerky there, because if we didn't have that jerky, I probably would have like killed myself a couple times. Although toward the end of said event, I was very tired of eating jerky because I eat a lot of jerky already. But yeah, overall though, like I feel like the event was a success in the nature of, it's definitely the smoothest production we've ever ran. I do feel like the Xbox One, while it is a great console, right now it's tough to run on LAN, and I'm hoping that Microsoft kind of gets on that, because there are a lot of people who are looking to run live events for Call of Duty and other games in the future. So I would like to see that kind of addressed. Overall, though, I think I do agree with you, Hitch. The event was like tiny. The venue was tiny, but I do think it was just because of the volume of people that were in there as well. I don't think I ever walked. I usually walk in the pit and see what everyone's doing and watch players play. And I do that almost every UMG event. This time around, I couldn't do that because it was so damn packed that I was like, I'm already like exhausted. And the thing is I really like interacting with people. So at a UMG event, I'm always like there, like chatting with people and trying to, have a good time and hang out with them. So yeah, I guess my whole thing is, if I'm trying to get over there, and I'm getting like asked to, take a picture or talk or conversate with people, it's exhausting. So it was just really tiny. It was just a really tiny setting, and I can't emphasize that enough. But hopefully UMG, changes that moving forward.
Well, I saw that tweeted afterwards. They said, "How about a bigger venue and more prize money?" And nobody's going to disagree with that. Of course, we want a bigger venue and more prize money. So the event, I'm gonna just like run through it. Denial ended up finishing first. It was a shock to me. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, I did not pick Denial winning the event. After the Envy ran into them and they 3-1 to Envy for the first time, I kind of thought they had a chance at winning, but I honestly thought one of the OpTic teams, #Hitch, was going to make it out and get into at least the grand final. Like, I honestly thought that was going to happen. I was really shocked with where FaZe finished. I was really shocked with where TK finished. But yeah. I think the event overall was really good, and of course, and I talked about this in kind of my pre-stream show I did yesterday, is that the OpTic versus OpTic match was, Twitter was just broken. It killed Twitter. It lifted everybody that could stop doing what they were doing. There were probably people asking to take their breaks at work so that they could go look on their phone and pull up the MLG.TV app. It was bananas, and I think that it was huge for UMG. Hitch, do you know what was their previous high was like 70-something thousand or something like that, right?
Golden Boy would know before I would.
Do you know what their previous high count was for viewership? Or
yeah, I believe at Dallas, which was the last Twitch event that we did, which is or the last event it was done on Twitch, was I believe it was like 66,000 was the highest they got,
and that was without
Black Ops,
right?
And that was without OpTic showing up and having a full sale event going on that weekend. So it actually was rather good. Yeah. On Philly though, I believe it was like 50, 55. I don't remember the exact amount.
I remember hearing 60.
Probably 60.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind. I don't want to get into all that because I have to. It's always better to stay out of that kind of discussion. But it was good for UMG. Everyone was happy. My job was just run the show and you know, make people happy and make the delays in between breaks not as catastrophic, which we tried. Like
Rock, paper, scissors.
That's called a brother trying. Okay, like really.
I actually
Really
I
fun.
actually enjoyed that stuff, to be honest
did
with you.
too.
Like, as a viewer, I didn't get to go, and I enjoyed watching it. I even tweeted out saying I thought this was probably like, I hadn't enjoyed watching because, like, now that I've casted it and I've been to an event, I want to go to every one. Like, I get seriously butthurt if I can't go to an event.
Yeah.
But I absolutely enjoyed watching it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know why. It was fun to watch. Even when the kids didn't know any of the trivia questions.
That was kind of my fault.
No,
Heart-wrenching. No, it was not.
that's not your fault. They were just new fans, but I thought I just enjoyed that little kids were getting stuff. I mean, they'll remember that forever.
Yeah,
And they're
yeah.
probably
Like
going
that,
to
so
be
that,
Call of
that's the
Duty
reason
fans
why I
forever.
did that. That's the reason why I did that. You know, UMG events have and always will be for me different in comparison to any other esports event that's out there because it's meant for the community. It's
Yeah.
not meant to be something that is you know, super elitist. I mean, yeah, you know, you are going to have the elitists and all that, but it's meant for the people who enjoy it. There are a lot of kids who came who said that this was their first ever event. A lot of those kids in the front row, and there were kids that pretty much sat there every single day, and they were there the whole time. They waited and they watched the same screens that people were watching at home. They saw it on the TVs in there, but they just sat there and they watched and they enjoyed it. And you know, I would ask all of them. It's like, you know, did you have fun, right? So I would make sure I go to all the partners and everyone, and I would say, you know, hey, do you have any like extra swag to give away? You know, things like that. And luckily, I mean, big shout out to Scuff, who gave like a suite of things. Game on Snacks, who also gave a suite of things. And it was really, really cool to see, you know, people kind of come together, understand like what the struggle was that we were trying to get things going, but it was really difficult if we couldn't get the boxes, you know, and everything synced up. So that was something. And one thing that I will say, I guess my one bit of feedback that I would give the UMG guys moving forward, and something I will definitely make sure I take to everyone, is that there needs to be a warm-up station for the pros so that they could just sit down and play, and then that's it. Because honestly, a lot of the reason why, like, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? If we didn't allow the pros to warm up and just play their game, one of the guys would go on Twitter and say UMG didn't allow the pros to warm up. And then someone's going to say, man, why are you not allowing the pros to warm up?
Yeah.
Right? And then there's that one.
Yeah.
Then if we allow the pros to warm up like we did, then you're going to have an instance where it takes longer because you're like, oh, 2 more minutes, please, one more minute. And I'm just like, no, hurry the hell up. And then I'm yelling at them, but I can only do so much because my referees have to be more assertive in that regard. And it came to an end like on Sunday. I just told everyone, I was like, yo, you guys have been playing this shit all week, all weekend. So you have 5 minutes. And then, you know, like in the end of 5 minutes, they're not ready. I'm like, well, I'm ready to go live. So, you know, this is it. Like, hurry the hell up, you know?
Yeah.
So is that what was happening between? Because one of the questions we got from Twitter, this guy Next_Blackout, he tweeted and said, "What can MLG, Gfinity, UMG do to make time between games more entertaining to maintain the view count, things like that?" Is the cause of that in between time like players? And then what do you guys think? Like, what can we do besides, you know, Golden Boy having to come out and throw out some rock paper scissors to people that don't know how to play it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think having a warm up station would be great. That was something that we actually did at COD Champs, which you know, big shout out to like ESL and ESS because they were the ones, or I should say ESS, not ESL, even though they're now the same company. But
Yeah.
ESS, you know, one thing that Craig Levine, who's the guy who basically organized the whole thing at Champs, as far as like, you know, boots on the floor and whatnot, told all the pro players at the pro meeting was, you guys have, like, this is your time to start. This is the time I expect you to be ready to play your game at this booth. There is no delays. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You are to be here at this time. If you are not warmed up, that is your responsibility to be warmed up. And a lot of guys were like, well, we got to warm up on the station. They're like, nope, we have a warm-up station right outside. If your match is up, this is the time and this is it, right? And big shout out to those guys, because COD Champs was probably one of the smoothest events I worked in my career. You know, save for like what I just did at the ESL Halo Gamescom event. Like that was another one of those like really smooth events.
Yeah.
And it's partly because again, it's like you're telling everyone this is what you have to do. This is the time you have to be here. If not, you're eliminated.
Yeah.
Right? Like you forfeit your matches.
Yeah.
And we have to be like that with everyone. Doesn't matter what it is, you know, that will grossly reduce downtime. Okay,
Yeah.
like if everyone just understood that they had a responsibility to be warmed up, but it also is up to the company, like UMG, MLG, whoever,
To provide the stations.
to provide that warm up station, just like the way ESS did at COD Champs, that would be great as well. So I'm hoping that that's something that ends up occurring. But you know, because that would help out a lot. Because I'm a big fan of scheduling. Like, I'm a big fan of esports events, like telling me, okay, at 8 o'clock, this match is going to start, and at 10 o'clock, this match is going to start, right?
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff because, you know, it gives me an idea as to, like, you know, when I want to tune in to watch the match that I want to watch. But it kind of got to a point where we were just like, all right, we're already, like, behind. Just keep getting the matches going. And we had a schedule, and it didn't really work out the way that I would imagine. Like, I would have liked that at, you know, 12 p.m., you know, match 2 was or series 2 was starting, you know, in our bracket. But that's not always the way things pan out.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well,
I think that happens in the future.
I think it sounds like you have a new experience from what you did for this event, and I mean, just, you know, we just gotta make sure people are providing that kind of feedback. So I'm gonna go through a couple of these questions from Twitter before we talk about some of the event recap. At Callum McSorley7 it says, "Do you think if EG attended, the placings would be different?" I'm gonna start with Fatty, and then Hitch, and then Golden Boy.
I would say yes. I mean, of course. You know, I don't know if EG would have won it just because of circumstances surrounding the team, like people having babies and going on trips and stuff like that. But you know, they're going to place at least top 5, top 4. So yeah, that's a 100% yes.
I mean, yeah, of course, the best Call of Duty play. I mean, the best Call of Duty team of all time. So, of course, they're gonna affect the placings. They might not be first just because there's so much going on, but
Yeah.
I mean, of course.
I definitely think the placings would have been a little bit different. But I will say that the meta currently, if you even want to call it a meta in Ghost, is nowhere even near where it was at the end of Black Ops 2. And I feel like, you know, the game currently is vector, aim down sights, you know, hope that the laser beam connects, laser beam connected, great, vector again, and that's it, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, I was a big fan of EG's style because it made people think on their toes nonstop. People always had to expect whether or not Aches was going to challenge them. You know, Crim can go off at any time. Karma was able to do whatever the hell he wanted. But right now, with the way the game, it's slowed down drastically, in my opinion. You know, and I do feel like the Vector being as good as it is really does, you know, kind of shrink things. All you need is the basic concept of aiming at this point, is the way I feel like. I don't, and I could be way off on this, but I know a couple other guys that I've talked to, like pros and whatnot, they do agree with me. It just feels like we've hit the pinnacle of what Ghost is going to provide for us.
Yeah.
If it keeps going like this is about as far as it's going to go.
Do you
And
think
we're
we
not
need
gonna
to-
go any further?
Do you think we need to ban the Vector for the next event?
I actually wouldn't be opposed to banning the Vector. I wouldn't be. At this point, at this point, you know what I mean? But in my opinion, and I'm not going to name names or anything, but the Vector has saved careers at this time. So I feel like, you know, for a lot of these pros, the Vector has really helped out a lot.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people will be very opposed to it. And that's not like a dig at anyone in particular. I just feel like everyone in general, like, that was just not used to hyper aggressive play, the Vector has helped them. So I don't think that there would be people that want a ban on the Vector. Like pros, I think a lot of pros will not want a ban on the Vector, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's changed the game. I haven't heard enough about it to say it should be banned. In my opinion, I saw all the stuff that Aches has been tweeting about. Before the Vector got its buff, they were winning, and now it's kind of like OpTic has won, Envy has won, they won, and Denial won, and it's kind of like L Trigger with the Vector is the game. But I do think it's the same as when people complained about the monitors. It's like, well, at a certain point, everybody's using the same thing, and I think it's not bad for the game right now going into the next game if different people win. I mean, if Complexity / EG had a victory all the way through Ghost, and they maybe lost 2 tournaments, but they won every single tournament. I don't think it's bad for the game, especially for viewership, of course, for OpTic to get a victory at X Games, or for Envy to get a victory at G3, I don't, or for Denial to get a victory at UMG Dallas. I think, I'm not a former player like you are, Alex, so I'm sure it's a little more aggravating from the perspective of being someone who's played professionally, but from the outside looking in, it's kind of one of those things that it's like, well, aren't you all using the same thing? Yeah, it's forcing EG to play differently. So the finals of these events look drastically different because of
it's
this,
EG's fault for not adapting.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. It certainly is. I mean, but at the same time, though, the way that the game is currently being played, it is
Stale.
a matter of how can I L trigger around the wall better than the next guy.
Yeah,
and that's part of the problem that I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
It is good to see other teams winning, but at this point, I feel like other teams aren't winning because they outplayed, if that makes sense. I feel like it's come down to any given Sunday, right? Where it's just like, hey, it's whoever is hot that day, and not to take anything away from Denial's win or OpTic's win or anyone's win. I think it's great. I think it's great that we've seen, a little bit of the, I guess, the variety with teams winning. But I saw someone in the chat saying, like, I don't want to see MTARs all the time. But the sad part is we're seeing Vectors all the time. I casted a game that was 8 Vectors.
Yeah.
Right? There was 8. The thing about the Vector that you guys have to understand is the Vector is like a quick AR. If I have a Vector, Red 3 in Freight, and I'm watching down and I get a kill, that shouldn't be the case. I shouldn't be able to cover long range with a Vector.
Yeah.
That's currently where the game is right now. The AR serves for the purpose of, let's take the Red 3 example again. A Red 3 player pushes out white, he's making his way right toward fences. I think the AR will outshine a Vector in that instance. But I could take a Vector up to Red 3, and I could watch a player pushing crates, put shots on him. We even seen that. A player put shots on a guy pushing crates. You can get the shot down on a player who's actually down by B. Yeah. Like, it's weird. You shouldn't see that kind of range with the gun. That was the problem that the FAMAS had in Black Ops 1. The FAMAS was dominant. There was no reason for you to use any other gun in the game. It was FAMAS, 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 FAMAS. That's all it was. It was 8 FAMAS. Everyone run around. You want to run objective? FAMAS with a pistol. You know what I mean? You want to hold down the lanes? FAMAS over a head glitch. Like, you know what I mean? You want to get in the middle of a gunfight? FAMAS 1v2.
I mean, and that's why I didn't watch Black Ops 1. I never watched a tournament on stream in Black Ops 1 at all.
You missed out.
What?
Yeah, and
I said you missed out, even though it was all FAMAS. Like, I watched every event on Black Ops.
Did you really? Like
every single one.
But I feel like
it was fun. It was fun.
Have you seen any of the what is the European team Deserto or that rule set where they banned the FAMAS and so they played with it was actually objective based and it was really entertaining to watch. I actually did watch.
They use the MC. So the problem in Black Ops 1 was that while the FAMAS was a highly dominant gun, the only other really effective weapon was the AK-47.
AK, yeah.
The M16 was straight garbanzo beans, bro. That was just nasty bad. And the AK-47 was the only like gun that you can probably hold down lanes with. So, but I do agree with you though. Like, but there was more of an emphasis on the SMGs though, because of the ban of the FAMAS. So you were able to bust out the MP5, the AK-74U.
Yeah.
Like the problem with the Surto though, and this is my ultimate problem with it, was that they just banned everything. It was like, Flash is too OP, we're going to ban that. You know what I mean? I don't want you stunning around the corner, we're going to ban that, right? Smokes are weird, we're going to ban that. Pretty much everyone's running around with fucking, you know, just
it's
random
guns,
things,
just shoot each other.
You know? I think, and you know, I just saw this pop up on my Twitter from a guy named OP Nightmare. He says, why keep banning things in the game when it's so close to being done? True, but why the hell not? You know, like I am not opposed to it, just because it's like Ghost was actually kind of entertaining when it was Remingtons and MTARs, and you know, players were trying to use, and you know, players were trying to use some variety. I like the fact that the Bulldog was banned, prompted other players to use a different shotgun class. You know, like I'm not opposed to any of that stuff, but right now, as it currently stands, it's all vectors all the time.
Well, I agree.
It's
I
very
think
reminiscent of Black Ops 1.
You have to get the game down. In my opinion, Black Ops 2 worked because the game got down to two main guns. It was like M8 and MSMC, and then you'd randomly see an AN-94 rocked by Killa, or you know, Rambo would pull out an MP7, and so. But it was and the Scorpion became the weapon towards the end of it. You know, it's like what happened to the Vector, and so I think that Black Ops 2 worked because it came down to a few weapons. You had to have an AR. Like, you're not MSMCing someone from like yellow to top market, you know, and so, but if you had an M8, you could pick them off. And so I think that, and CTF created that necessity to have a long range weapon. Blitz, you can run around, you know. I think Blitz is, the meta has changed enough to where people can get close enough with the Vector to where it's effective on Blitz. Even on large maps like Octane, people are starting to run a lot of Vectors, and so I agree. I mean, I think it's up for grabs. I do think we're close to the end of the game. Let's let it play out for these last two tournaments, but I guess we'll see what happens. So let me throw out one more of these Twitter questions. Who is the best player in Call of Duty Ghosts right now? That's from @MattWilliams.
We do this every STiKS.
Yep, we do. Fatty Hitch, and then
why do I have to go first?
What? Like,
who's the best?
Just let Golden Boy do it. He's a guest.
Golden Boy.
Yeah, sure.
Who's the best player in Call of Duty Ghosts
right now?
The Vector.
The Vector is the best player in Call of Duty Ghosts.
Attaches
and
connection.
The Vector wins it all. No. Who's the best player in Call of Duty Ghosts right now? I mean, I won't lie. I think Formal is right now.
The chat is going to be spammed with anti-OpTic
haters. No, the reason why is because all weekend, like, besides, like, Denial impressed the crap out of me, but they impressed me as a team.
Yeah,
the only player that, like, impressed me individually, which is very hard to do considering this is Vector of Duty, was Formal. Like, Formal actually really impressed me, you know? Like, I just thought, I mean, there was no one really doing anything, like, and I'm talking about based on UMG Dallas. There was no one doing anything impressive. Like, I just felt like there was nothing like, oh my God, there was none of that. And Formal was the only guy who actually provided that. So, and I had the distinct pleasure of seeing Formal play Advanced Warfare right now. And if he decides he wants to play Advanced Warfare, my God.
Game over.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
And he was even like thrilled about the game. So this kind of reminds me of Formal and Halo 4. He didn't even like the game, and he was like the best player. And you know, the kid is just naturally gifted. I'm sorry. I don't care if anyone disagrees with me. I see the chat putting OpTic numbers on there, and I get it, and it's cool.
No, they're saying Scump, Crim.
I see Scump, Killa, Nihil.
I see a Gandhi.
Scump. I see Jake.
Tipsy's muscles. Somebody said Tipsy's muscles.
That was Rick.
Yeah, that was Rick.
I got called an opticator, as you can see there, right there. That was bound to happen because, again, not like I'm, like I don't care.
Big Snacks is typing his own name over and over.
Snacks is.
We're gonna ban him for
Here's the deal,
spamming.
Snacks.
No,
I'm a staff member, so I could just ban you. I don't want to keep spamming your name. No, but no, I definitely do. Like, okay, as far as UMG Dallas goes, the player that impressed me the most, I would say 2 players impressed me the most was Zuma's S&D game. Awesome, awesome to watch. Kids a whiz, and then Formal, just that natural slaying ability was very impressive. So I'm going to say yes. The other S&D player that really impressed the shit out of me all weekend was Nadeshot. Just time and time again. He's in a 1v2. I could comfortably say, oh yeah, I think Nate has this. Like, it was actually really cool to see him kind of break down the other team in like a 1v2 or even in a 1v1. He did that numerous times. The confidence Nate had in this event was a lot different and I haven't had a chance to cast Nate in quite some time because I haven't been casting COD a lot. So this was the first time I think I've casted like pro team Call of Duty since, God, I don't even remember.
Didn't you do did you do regionals at all, or?
Yeah, I did regionals and I did champs. Yeah. And then, damn, have I really not done anything since champs? Yeah, I did. Damn. Wait, Philly happened. Philly happened after champs, right?
Yeah.
Philly was before champs.
Maybe.
Philly was before champs.
Yeah, Philly was before champs. Yeah,
you did Niagara, though.
Oh, I did Niagara. So Niagara.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Niagara from here. So the last UMG to this UMG was the last time I casted COD.
Yeah.
Right, which I think is kind of hilarious now I think about it. And yeah, like basically, Krim is undoubtedly the best player in the game right now. Like, and this is just not even him attending UMG. I believe Krim is just the best player. Period. At UMG Dallas, though, the best players, slaying wise, Formal definitely impressed me quite a bit. Just raw talent. Saints, Jesus, that dude, savage.
Yeah.
Followed by S&D side, Nadeshot and Zuma, or Zuma and Nadeshot.
So let me ask this question. We'll get into the recap. So OpTic didn't place bad. Everybody's acting as if they like lost and placed like FaZe did. And people are asking questions like, what's wrong with OpTic? They're falling apart. They're horrible. It's like they didn't place bad. They had a good run. Nation and Gaming had a good run in the losers bracket. Nation's run in the losers bracket was ridiculous. I mean, they won 9 matches straight and then lost to Envy. But I think OpTic Gaming, everybody's, Proofy's had 2 bad events. What's wrong with Clay and Proof? So I guess in your guys' personal opinion, and I'm going to start with Hitch, what is it that's happened on OpTic to where Nadeshot is actually almost played better for the last couple of events, but Proofy and Clay have had a real hard time finding their footing? And this is just post-X Games. Like, they figured it out, and then they lost it. Like, what do you think has happened to OpTic in general as a team? And is the word roster change, is it too soon to throw that in the air for that team?
The vector happened, and no, there won't be a roster change. Like, I feel like you said, that the 2 people that are struggling are not even really struggling, but like that aren't living up to their standards. Are Proof and Clayster. Debatably the two of the top 5 best ARs of all time. Like, and that's why, is because this this vector crap happened. Vector crap happened, and so like you can't. I mean, you can blame it on adapting, but like that's not what they're supposed to do. They've never done that before, and so like I just think this is just a terrible game. I don't know, like. That's
is this your Call of Duty Ghost answer?
Yeah, it's gonna be my answer to pretty much everything. No, there roster change. I feel like both teams not only like play well, but they fall under what OpTic is. They have like the entertaining value and everything like that.
What about you, Fatty?
I don't know. Like, to me, it just seems like Nadeshot's challenging a lot more fights. Some that maybe he should, some that maybe he shouldn't. And he's like, this weekend he came out on top of a lot of those. But I think the whole vector thing has a big impact on it. One thing, I don't think they're going to break up. Maybe if they would have not placed in the top 5, possibly. But looking into the next game where you have something like Hardpoint, I haven't played. Maybe Alex can answer this, but I could see, Clayster running that AR. He'd be a great anchor. We're going to have an anchor role again, and that's what he was known for. Why would you break up a team that looks so good, that would look good in Black Ops 2, let alone, going into this next event or game? That's what I meant, not event.
I think OpTic definitely didn't play bad. I think that they just, I don't know. It was let me see. So they beat Noble Vanquish, right? No, they beat, who did they beat?
Who?
OpTic
Gaming?
Yeah.
To get into the
Yeah,
last...
I'm trying to remember their path, like who they beat.
MW, Most Wanted.
MW. So they beat MW. They beat.
Noble.
Then they lost to Denial.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm actually looking right now. So they lost to Denial, 3-1, and then championship losers. Looking at this now, OpTic Gaming beat Noble, and then they beat TK. So, and I don't even feel like TK was at their best this weekend.
They 3-0'd TK, right?
No, they 3-1 them.
3-1.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't even feel like TK was at their best this weekend. I don't know. This event was weird. I expected OpTic to come out and potentially win it just based on how they've been playing lately, and I guess that just wasn't the case here. And again, I do feel it's hard to say again, right? Because the vector is just the thing that's on my mind. It's just the first thing that pops up because that's why. That's just how I believe it. I just think that the vector changed the landscape of the game, made everything more of a coin flip, and a coin, and that's kind of just the way it is right now.
So then, if I asked you what Denial did better than everybody else to win this event, you would say use the vector?
No, because see, the thing about, and I'm not trying to take away Denial's win, because that's not they earned it, right? They came here and they showed up and they played well. Right?
Yeah,
it was an any given Sunday thing. I said it on stream. This is the team nobody wanted, right? All 4 of those players, nobody wanted them.
They didn't even want each other though. I heard that they didn't even like each other before this event.
They have all 4 members on that team have such strong personalities that it's surprising that it even worked,
Yeah.
But sometimes that's kind of how it is, right? You have guys who just have very strong personalities that work together very well. I think that, I don't know, I feel like what Denial did better was, honestly, I mean, they clutched up a lot more. They had the hot hand the whole time. Nothing, they weren't doing anything. It felt like everything that they did was right, which I thought was hilarious. Literally everything they did was right. Everywhere they looked, everywhere they shot, it was just one of those things where everything clicked. It was a beautiful thing to see. It was weird. It's something that you see EG do, where everything that they do just clicks. It's just perfect. They turned this corner at the perfect time. He drop shotted him at the perfect angle. Everyone else was they were 5 steps ahead of everyone else. Everyone was playing catch up. That's just how it felt.
Even during the listen-ins that were shown on stream, their communication was different. It was drastically different than even when they were losing. Their communication level, and of course, the minute any kind of 2-piece or 3-piece happens, or a really quick cap, Studdy's gonna scream his head off, and that's what he was good at way back on. What was the team that he was on with Tipsy, Chino, and Gucci? What was the name of their team?
Justice.
Was it Justice?
Rick would be very
that they were on way back. Oh, sorry, Rick.
Jesus.
So
he's gonna leave.
When they were on Justice way back when they had their good run, they Studdy just was. I would watch him on stream and just see him just screaming, and it hyped up the team and helped them. And I think maybe that's what Tipsy's missing, is someone just to scream, on Curse. But I think Curse beat FaZe, so this event was just weird. I mean, there's a lot of unpredictability, but I think the any given Sunday thing you said makes sense, except for any given Sunday, like a football game, you're thinking about one team beating one team in one game. Like, I think there is an amount of, and you kind of pinpointed it, there is a little bit of luck in every competitive game, no matter what sport it is. But then, because the 50-50 balls can kind of go in either direction. It's the same thing in Call of Duty. Like, you kind of flip a coin sometimes and, oh, it landed in our favor, you know. They rushed the way that we thought they were going to rush, or those bullets didn't kill me, you know, whatever it is. And so I think that they actually did some things that helped them win. And communication, in my opinion, was one of the big ones. I heard things out of them that, and I've never thought of Saints as like a really good communicator. He seems like one of those silent slayers like Crim6 used to be before Ghost. But I think that their team was just communicating really well. I heard replays calling out, and they were clicking on all cylinders. So, Hitch, what would you say, being at the event, what would you say helped Denial to pull away this victory?
Honestly, I never really got to see Denial play a lot, except the grand finals and one other main stage game. But I thought every player like plays a certain role on that team, even though the role is 4 vectors. But I feel like that team has each person has a different mindset, and all those mindsets like mesh really well together for like a really solid team. And plus, I remember Study was playing. I watched the Strike Zone Dom game, and like when Study heats up, like he doesn't stop, and his hype factor is a big thing for that team. So I just thought they have. I know I always do this, but I thought they had a lot of chemistry as the team. And I don't really think you could really chalk it up to one person. It was more of like a collective team effort.
Well, yeah, you look at their stats, and then like Golden Boy said, there was nobody that really like at this event. Clearly at G3, you know, Formal was on a different level. Like it was obvious. Envy as a team was playing on a different level. I mean, their collaborative KD was ridiculous, and so I think though at this event, even looking at the statistics and who's in the top of this and that, you know, it's like you got Study at top 4, top 5 in KD, and I think though that these players, they just played together and they did it well. They did it better than everybody else, you know, in my opinion. I just think they just did it better. So this last question before we sign off, because we're in overtime right now, but I kind of wanted to start with Golden Boy, and then I did want Fatty and Hitch. I want you guys to answer, and I'll throw my 2 cents in as well. So Golden Boy, you've been around for a hot minute. You know, you told us about it. You've played, you've casted. Now you're helping run events. You know, you're working at a site that is created for gaming and to broadcast gaming. You know, everybody knows who you are. You know, you've got a YouTube channel, all that kind of stuff. You create content, you know, that's pretty awesome. I like it.
I haven't done it in quite a while, though.
I was gonna say I haven't seen you in my sub box. Is it?
Sorry.
Is it your work? Is your work just keeping you busy?
It's not Twitch at all. If anything, they encourage it. It's you know, I'm still gonna do my thing.
Yeah.
I think you know, the reason why I haven't really been doing this is because I've been traveling a lot.
Yeah.
You know, which has really sucked. And you know, Kozlov actually showed me like the GoPro, and I might just GoPro everything.
Yeah.
And because it's so tiny, it fits in my pocket. So I might just GoPro everything and then just upload it and just GoPro everything I possibly can, and then just take you guys on the trip with me, so to speak, because I travel a lot.
Well, I'll be honest. Like, what people don't understand about YouTube in general, Twitch is a little bit different, but YouTube in general, like, there's a motivation you have to make YouTube videos.
Oh my god!
You know, like to make even the golden nugget, like you have to. It's like cooking a meal. It's like cooking versus microwaving or going through a fast food drive-through. It's like, I know that I'm going to have to put all these graphics into this, and I'm going to have to put pictures on the screen.
And that's why I hate Gandhi, you know, because Gandhi just didn't do
sits in his bedroom and wakes up and talks.
He's like, "What's up, savages?" I'm like, you know what? Screw this guy. No, but the good news, and I wanted to save it, was there will be a Golden Nugget tomorrow.
Hey, awesome.
And
everybody
you know,
tune in.
I'm going away at PAX, but what I'm going to do is I don't have a GoPro right now, but I am going to be recording as much as I possibly can. Luckily, my work PC is a beast, and can render out videos and stuff like that. So I'll definitely be uploading. And even if it's just like a simple vlog, you know, that's what I like to do anyway. I like to do vlogs. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do it just because
Awesome.
I know I have to. But
People,
yeah.
somebody type drama alert at your Gandhi imitation.
Dude, apparently I have the best Gandhi, Maven, and Mr. X.
That was a good Gandhi imitation. What's up, savages? That was perfect.
What's up, Savage? How you doing? It's terrible. Just terrible.
So my question for you is basically, you know, I know what's wrong with Ghost. It's broken, blah, blah, blah. It is very boring. I'll admit it myself. If we didn't have people in the community talking about players and the drama that goes on with like photographers versus graphic artists, you know, and all the little crazy squabbles
That's a thing? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing right now is if you watch Twitter, like these graphic artists, these GFX guys and photographers are really, they're butting heads a lot because they're getting mad. GFX people are using their stuff for free, and now people are getting mad. Like, you know, Ringhouse it's Ringhouse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting upset.
Ringleader.
Ringleader. He's getting, but Ringhouse is the name of his channel, right?
Yeah.
So Ringleader is getting upset that like, you know, people are trying to use his footage even to make their montages and stuff because now we have a montage maker for every pro player at least, you know. And so there's a lot of different, there's room for everybody in the community right now. It's kind of like when YouTube started to grow and people that were bigger, like, you know, Wings of Redemption, those guys started to complain like, you know, the community is saturated with, you know, too many new people and all that. But, you know, out of all that is birthed some really cool channels and some really great content. And so I don't have any problems with it. But, you know, Call of Duty is in a good place. As much as people may hate Ghosts, Call of Duty has grown drastically. I mean, the numbers that were produced at UMG was utterly ridiculous. And yeah, it had a lot to do with OpTic, but that's part of it, is that as OpTic grows, we all grow, you know. I've kind of said this before, is that as Nadeshot gets more followers, we all get more followers. Nadeshot gets more subs, we all get more subs. Because that's just, it's like, I know that as a content creator for competitive Call of Duty, there's someone out there with over 1 million subscribers, 1.4 million. And if I only have 28,000, well, then there's a huge market of people that are going to probably like my content. And so my question for you, I guess, is what is it that needs to happen next? Instead of just, I mean, I think AW coming out is not going to be enough. We had a lot of big things that happened this year with MLG.TV being introduced, the ESR being something that's now daily, and with the X Games and things like that. You know, there's a lot of big things that happened this year. Like, what needs to be next that'll help the sport grow in the right direction? I'll start with Fatty, and then I'll do Alex, and then Hitch, and then we'll do our final words.
I think kind of what MLG started with the whole league series, having consistency, because consistent teams that people can love, you know, say like an OpTic, like an Envy, players that they can love and root for. I think that's the biggest thing, and that's why we are having, you know, success and we're growing right now. I mean, I DM'd Monster Esports like right when I first got into the community. I said, hey, why don't you talk to why don't you sponsor any COD teams? And they were nice enough to DM me back and say, there's not enough tournaments. And you can see where we are now. We have enough tournaments that Monster sponsors 2 teams now. And as long as we can start like keeping everything a little bit more professional, I mean, sure, it's great to have, you know, drama, but, you know, if we could keep some things like under the table, like say between teammates and stuff like that, just not so public, so that, you know, who's to say Tide isn't going to be the next MLG sponsor, or, you know, some McDonald's, you know, I don't know. It's things like that detract big sponsors, and that's really what we need is big sponsors.
All right, Hitch or whoever was next.
I'll go. Unless you want to go, Hitch.
I don't have anything I'm gonna say yet. So.
Sound like a robot right now, by the way.
Yeah, he sounds like a robot. Go ahead, Alex.
So this is kind of an awkward question because of me working for Twitch. So
well, you don't have to give us any insight or anything.
Well, no, I mean, because it's weird. All right, let me see how I can word this so it doesn't sound bad.
Okay, take your time.
I believe
don't make people mad at you.
We need more. And Fatty, I agree with you, but I agree we need more outside of the one.
Okay, yeah,
I agree.
Gotcha.
And that's why I helped start UMG to begin with. So that's why I showed up, I should say, to the first UMG event. Was because Jeff said, I want to do something for the people. And I said, I'm with you on that. There were no events for MW3. You know, there was, you know, where were, you know, the other people during MW3, right? Because I always knew we had that capability in there.
Yeah.
And Black Ops 2 was like the breakout point for it because the game was really good.
Yeah.
Do I think AW is going to be that? I think, you know, that I think it's great. I think I think AW is going to be a hot game. But I do definitely feel like the game, esports in general, has increased exponentially over the last couple of years, over the last couple of months even. Best example I can give is, you know, ESL Cologne for CSGO. Progress was day one, they had like 250,000 viewers. Day two, they had about 350,000 viewers in the finals, had 400,000
Wow.
and beyond.
Wow.
Right? And when you look at the numbers of people who have purchased CSGO versus people who have purchased Call of Duty, it's night and day. So there should be some kind of correlation there as to why is one happening over the other. And I think it's because we need to have more. We need to have, and we also need to have a game that a lot of people can, you know, reflect on and also accept too. Because don't get me wrong, CS:GO definitely has a lot of things in there that entice people to want to watch.
Yeah.
And I think that really does help out a lot. Like for example, you know, they have the betting, right? The CS:GO Lounge.
Yeah.
And honestly, the CS:GO Lounge might be one of the greatest things that ever happened to esports because now I'm betting skins and I'm actively watching the game to make sure that my team won so that I can get my skins. You know what I mean? Like it makes me more invested as a fan.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, all right, I'm going to bet my skins. I want to know which team's going to do well. I don't want to put up my best skin if I don't know what these two teams are doing.
Yeah.
So ultimately what ends up occurring is you start seeing people develop fan bases. Perfect example was Hiko from C9. He averaged around like 1,000 or so viewers on Twitch. Now he's over at 10,000 plus, you know, when he goes live and watching CSGO. And it's because people want to learn and use that knowledge for their betting. They want to learn, use that knowledge for what they're applying. I think it's good. And, you know, I think I think overall, something like that, I just would like to see more. And that's my whole spiel. So
Hitch, you want to try to talk and see if it'll work?
Am I better now? I don't know.
A little
you're
bit,
better.
yeah.
Okay. Dude, there's not a lot to say after what Golden Boy just said. Yeah, basically, like I feel like we have the potential now. We made it through the Holocaust that was Call of Duty Ghosts, and now I feel like you know, we have the ability to explode even more than we have, and it just it takes a community's effort, and it takes everyone being willing to broadcast what we have to every potential audience, and I feel like that's not happening as of now, but it could.
Yeah, I agree with what all of you guys said, and I think that we have to make sure we don't, and you probably understand what I'm trying to say, but make sure we don't necessarily bite the hand that feeds us, you know? I think that a lot of pro players themselves have kind of gotten to a point, and I want to interview Aches, so I'm not going to say anything, you know, negative about him, but I think a lot of pro players have kind of, there was a point where they were almost like separating themselves from OpTic, which they've now almost all been on, you know, but they were separating themselves from that team because of what the team stood for. And I don't think necessarily the community needs to separate themselves from the one, you know, because of what they stand for. But I do think that partnering with and maybe even offering something that, like, I don't know, I know you can't talk about it, Golden Boy, but the partnership that UMG did make with MLG, I'm guessing that in the long run, there is some benefit that came back to UMG for streaming on MLG.TV. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. You know, I think that there is a way for us, you know, it's kind of like for us all to get along, so to speak, but there's a way for us to grow this sport as a sport where we don't have to create these divisions. You know, it's kind of like, yes, OpTic is OpTic, and yeah, there's going to be little kids, and, you know, running after their players, and Nate shot, oh my gosh, you know, and you might come in as a phase player, and people will be like, who are you, snipers? You know, and you're like, no, I'm Sensor. I've been playing this game for forever, you know, like, you know, and so I think that there is YouTube and social media does something for us all. It grows the sport in general, but I don't believe that there should only be one platform. I don't think there should only be one streaming platform. I don't think, and that's just my argument on the whole thing with, you know, EG versus MLG and all that. I just don't think there should be only one streaming platform. I understand what MLG is doing because it's their league, but I do think that it's not bad for us to have other ways to enjoy the game. That's just my personal opinion. If they're going to offer something better that maybe lure people away, well, then great, but they should still let players stream on other platforms. Just my opinion. And I think that as well, like, I like that our show, you know, right now is on Twitch. You know, there's a different platform that is offered for people that are talking about competitive Call of Duty. So, and there's different YouTube channels outside of MLG COD, you know, and so I think we can partner. I think we can get together. You know, I'm sure, Golden Boy, you've been on ESR before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, you know, and that's the kind of partnership I'm talking about. Is like, I don't think I have to be like adversarial towards, you know, ESR or anything like that, or I don't think that other players should be adversarial towards OpTic. I think there should be, you know, they should do LAN tournaments where maybe if we do need to do more tournaments, we do more invitationals instead of, you know, large tournaments where these people that can't afford to send their players out, you know, 12, 15 times a year, but maybe we do an invitational tournament for larger teams that can go 12 to 15 times a year. And we do smaller tournaments with 6 teams to 8 teams that are going to draw fans and viewership wherever they're viewed. So I think that I'm happy with UMG. I'm really happy with UMG online. I think that is blown up, you know, and I think that it's really awesome that there is a company like UMG in the community that's created something different, a different way of doing things, a different way of seeing things. And I'm happy that they've kind of partnered with Major League Gaming to kind of figure out what's next. In my personal opinion, more professionalism is our next step. I just think, you know, Fatty kind of hit on it, but I don't think we have really any cancers in the community. But, you know, more professionalism from players, from owners, all the way across, the way we deal with things, the way we handle things behind the scenes, and when we have a gripe, we kind of, you know, it'd be good to get on a Skype call. I mean, and just hash it out, you know, instead of taking it to Twitter or YouTube. And pro players as well, it's going to happen sometimes because they're competing against each other. But just more professionalism, maybe having someone that runs, you know, competitive Call of Duty. I mean, I don't know. So that's just my opinion. So now for the final word, and Fatty, you went, right?
Wait, yeah, I went. You didn't pay attention to me? Oh my goodness!
I did. I promise.
It's because I like hockey, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually. So for the final word, basically, you can say whatever you want about whatever you want, and you can say it to whoever you want. Try not to use too much foul language, and don't get my show banned.
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
I was about to say, like, I highly doubt.
But I'm gonna start with Hitch, and then we'll do Golden Boy, Fatty, and then myself.
All right, so I don't know what happened today on Twitter for a couple hours, but people were saying that UMG was going to be a Black Ops 2 tournament. That is not going to happen. I just want you guys to know that.
I took mine.
Honestly, I tried. The second I got to Dallas, I started talking to people, and it's just not possible. It's not UMG. It doesn't have anything to do with UMG. It's not possible. Like they can't do it. So I don't know where that came from, but I just wanted to tell you guys that. But thanks for watching.
Yep. Fun time. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for allowing me to come through Kingdom. I really appreciate it. For those of you guys who waited through the long wait times at UMG, sorry about that. We'll hopefully be sure to, if I end up doing Nashville, not sure just because of scheduling, we'll be sure to lower that or just do more rock, paper, scissors contests. Who knows? And thanks to everyone who's been like super cool about me joining Twitch. I know there were a lot of people who were bummed out thinking that I would stop casting, but I'm not gonna stop. So I'll keep going until my voice kind of gives out, which is gonna happen one day. But on this day, that is not the case. So thank you.
Back up to the Black Ops 2 thing. You don't buy the hand that feeds you. Kingdom already said that. If you do that, that's just a big slap in the face of the developers. And the developers are the ones that contrip the majority of the money.
Developers.
Yep, exactly. So that's why I always thought it was location. But
no, it was Steve Ballmer from Microsoft. He was just like, developers. He said it like, it was really funny. Yeah, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No,
it's fine. Sorry.
Anyways, that's why it's not gonna happen, guys. And just as much as I like Black Ops 2, it's just not gonna happen. That's why I think banning the Vector would be a good idea for Nashville. I think they should ban the Vector and the R5. To be honest with you, I want to see different guns. Let's just and I got that from Hitch. That's all Hitch's idea from Twitter earlier. But no, well, because when he
you're gonna get roasted, dude.
It's all right. I'm fine. I'm fine with the little roasting. I like marshmallows and everything. That's why I'm fat. But no, but yeah, I'm excited about this. And I thought Dallas was a good event. I was excited to watch it. Everything was great. And as always, thanks for having me on.
All right, my final word is aimed at content creators, pros, non-pros, amateurs, people that are starting out. Just because someone grows really big, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't watch what they do, not just that they do it. I think sometimes people get this misconception that when you get really large on YouTube or you get a whole bunch of followers on Twitter, it's almost like you use less skill, and now it's just because you're big, that's why people watch and that's why people subscribe. There are channels that exist like that on YouTube that are growing, but their content isn't that great. And I'm going to give a tip. I've given it in a video before, but I'm going to use this opportunity. If you do live commentaries, like you do live gameplays, and you want to play the game and you want people to hear you calling out, if you don't keep talking, don't upload it. Watch, and I'm going to tell you who to watch, is OpTic Nadeshot. And if you don't want to watch him, Scumpy has started to do the same thing. He talks the whole time, never stops talking when he does his, and that's why I watch his Road to Master Division. Some of his other content I don't watch. I definitely don't watch Minecraft, but some of the other stuff like the house tours and stuff, I don't necessarily watch that stuff. But his Road to Master Division, I love Black Ops 2. It would be great if they brought it to Xbox One. I saw somebody say that in the chat. But if you're going to create that type of content, just remember that large doesn't mean lazy. And so, a lot of pros have started doing thumbnails. Do a thumbnail. Find somebody that can create you some thumbnails. There's so many people in the community right now that if you don't aim as high as you can, you may not be able to do, somebody else's level of content. You may not be able to put graphics on your, on your screen and little things that pop up, and you may not have the ability or know-how, but do your best when you put content on YouTube, because it represents you. I've made 1 million videos that have never been seen by you guys because I watched them a couple times and I just didn't like it. And it probably would have been great. People would have liked it, thumbed it up. But just do your best when you're creating content. And that's my advice, is when you're doing live gameplays, don't just play and not say anything. It's boring is the best way to say that.
That's why I suck at streaming.
Because you can't keep talking?
I am so focused on the damn game.
Yeah, that's how
I will sit. I won't even breathe sometimes. Like yesterday, I played. I got 3 aces. I'm pulling out 4 fingers. I got 3 aces yesterday in a 2v4, and I think there was a whole round I didn't take a breath. I almost fell over. So I suck at streaming.
We'll still watch.
Teach me how.
We'll still watch your stream smiting. I think honestly, streaming is one of those things. Like, there's people that are really good at it, and there's people that are people like your personality and who you are. They like your YouTube videos, they like watching you on the STiKS or whatever, and so they're gonna watch you stream and for the random times. But I would just know that I'll give you this tip, maybe Fatty, is that if you do not as well playing, but you're that much more interactive, people won't even really notice how good you're doing on the game.
True.
Yeah.
Like, I never watch Benson's gameplay. I just listen to him.
Yeah, you listen to him talk the whole time and scream. Sorry, Benson. I know you're not watching, so we're good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for going into overtime by half an hour. I know we started about half an hour late, so we technically were about an hour. This will be uploaded on my channel tomorrow. Shout out to Golden Boy Hitch and Fatty, and of course Goalie TV. For his work on production. Make sure you guys, if you get some G Fuel, don't use any of those other codes. Use mine. 10% off. Don't listen to Fatty or Hitch. I don't care what they're saying right now.
I don't have a code.
Don't listen to Hitch. I don't even know what his code is.
Your code is Hitch.
Hitch's code is Kingdom. All caps. But no, just make sure you guys check out Gamma Gamers. My new show will be on Gamma Gamers TV next Monday. This is your boy Kingdom Soldier and the rest of us, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
See you guys.